Okay, this is the situation with the complaint form, and I wanted to read you what this says because the other complaint form that I got did not have this statement on it. But complaints by members of the public against police personnel. And by the way, what begins in anger ends in shame. And there's another little tidbit that I wanted to share before I start reading this thing. Not that. But anyways, it's a story about a guy that had, eaten his lunch, and he was standing there in the park, and he threw his papers and his garbage into the bushes. And his friend was like, "Hey, man, what are you doing? Why'd you throw your trash in the bushes? I mean, that's not cool." And he's like, "What? Nobody saw it." And he said, "You saw it. Somebody saw it. You saw it. And what you see, your creator sees. So you can't hide anything, folks, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing is hidden, no matter where." And, there was a thing online over the last week or so about memory, blood memory, the memory that the blood has, or, every drop of it, every strand of hair, everything, nothing gets by our Creator, God Almighty. So here's the situation with this. As a public safety professional, we strive to perform our duties fairly and with the utmost competence and compassion. Police officers are tasked with serving our community and enforcing our laws in an increasingly complex and dangerous environment. Officers are highly trained to handle a wide variety of situations, from finding lost children to investigating homicides. In all situations, our goal is the same: to provide effective quality service to our community. In order to do this, we must earn the trust of those we serve, so they partner with us to keep our community safe. So, earn the trust of those we serve. You don't do that by slamming them down on the ground now, do you? Having a sound process for dealing with citizens' complaints is an important step toward building this trust. So, members of the public, I'm trying to use different pictures and stuff, but I guess, anyway. Members of our community may have a complaint about one of our police employees. They call them police employees. See? Police employees. This is the form, but it's hard to get it, in there. So I'm reading it to you. But you can read it if you can see it. Police employees. Much of the time, the issue arises from a misunderstanding about the law or policy the officer is obligated to follow. Obligated to follow law, policy, or about the circumstances of the event. These issues can often be resolved by discussing your concerns with a supervisor, which Sergeant Culver was very generous and nice about his time and everything. It made me feel much better about the situation. So that's true. If you talk about it, you can resolve it. There may be some cases in which the complaint is about an employee's conduct or alleges a violation of department policy or law. These situations may warrant more in-depth investigation. Either way, we take your concerns seriously and will work to resolve them. This pamphlet contains useful information to assist in resolving your concerns. We encourage you to discuss the situation with one of our supervisors. This is often the most expedient and effective way of resolving a complaint. If this does not bring you satisfaction, or if you do not wish to discuss your concerns with the supervisor, a complaint form is attached to this brochure. It is important that you be detailed and truthful in the information you provide. Our goal is to effectively resolve your complaint. We will be diligent in our investigation, and if any of our employees acted inappropriately, we will take action accordingly. Deborah Linden, Chief of Police. What should I do first? We encourage you to speak with the supervisor about your concerns or complaint. Okay? Let's see. They will listen to you and may be able to gather additional information that could resolve your concerns. You may request to speak with a supervisor by contacting the police department by phone or in person. If you do not wish to speak with the supervisor, you may complete the attached complaint form and return it to the police department in person or by mail. If the complaint allegations of serious misconduct, it will be assigned to a trained investigator of supervisory or management rank for investigation. If the complaint involves allegations of serious misconduct. If the complaint involves minor policy violations, it may be handled by the employee's supervisor. Do I have a complaint in person? Do I have to complain in person? No, we prefer to talk to you in person, but we will accept a complaint by telephone or letter if necessary. I'm under 18. Do I have the right to complain? Yes. However, you will need to bring one of your parents or guardian with you to make the complaint. Do I have to write out my complaint? We much prefer starting with a written account of your complaint. If there are valid reasons why this can't be done, we'll make other arrangements. How thoroughly will you investigate my complaint? Very thoroughly. If one of our employees has engaged in any misconduct, we want to know about it so we may take appropriate corrective action. If it is determined an employee acted properly, it is equally important that you be made aware of this finding. Yeah, that's right. What could happen to the officer? That will depend on the situation. If the officer is found to have violated the law, there could be legal sanctions as with any other citizen. If the officer is found to have violated a department policy, he or she could be subject to discipline as determined by the chief of police. This could range from a simple reprimand to termination. Depending on the seriousness of the conduct, the officer could also be sent to additional training to improve his or her work performance and education. Additional training. Educate, por favor. Will I be told the outcome of the complaint investigation? Yes. You will receive a letter telling you the disposition of our investigation. However, we cannot legally disclose the nature of any discipline imposed against an officer. I don't know why not. Will I be asked to take a lie detector's test? In certain cases, if the investigator is unable to determine what occurred even after a thorough investigation, you may be asked to take a polygraph examination. This does not happen very often. You have the right to refuse this request. What if I'm not satisfied with the results of this investigation? We sincerely hope that doesn't happen, but if it does, we encourage you to contact the chief of police to discuss the outcome of the investigation. We may be able to provide you with additional information and explanation that would be helpful to you. If this does not bring you satisfaction, you may contact the city manager. On the back of the form, your name, where you live, phone number. I can be reached at home or whatever, at what time. I want to complain about the officer, badge number, car number. I want to complain because of date, time, etc., location. You have a right to make a complaint against a police officer for any improper police conduct. California law requires this agency to have a procedure to investigate citizens' complaints. You have a right to a written description of this procedure. This agency may find after investigation that there is not enough evidence to warrant action on your complaint. Even if that is the case, you have the right to make the complaint and have it investigated if you believe an officer behaved inappropriately or improperly. Citizen complaints and any reports or findings relating to complaints must be retained by this agency for at least 5 years. I understand, and it is my desire that this complaint will be investigated diligently. I declare under penalty of perjury that the allegations contained in this complaint are true, and that if an investigation proves these allegations to be knowingly false, I may be subject to both criminal and civil prosecution. Date, time, and there's the back of the form. So this form is pretty, if any of you other agencies, departments want to copy this, because it's pretty good to give all this information to the people that don't understand how to do the filing. I don't know if you can see it on here, but there it is. I read it to you. Citizen's complaint of San Luis Obispo, where I was for 1 day and got a parking ticket in a 2-hour parking spot. Embarrassing. I'll be talking